Hey guys, so we're moving on to the next section. I sent out that little clip or that section that we made in the last couple videos to Luna, and she did her scratch track, and I just dropped it into Logic. So we're gonna check this out. I see that she's already she did basically verse, pre-chorus, breakdown, chorus thing. She did everything. So we have a lot to play with from an arrangement perspective. Now I have rearranged the order of the track. The drum tracks are all up here from our scratch track. Okay, and the synth is right here. Bass is the red track, and her vocals are down here. So let's listen to this. Before we do, actually, I want to talk about a vocal chain that I have. I think this is a really smart thing to do. I use this chain. It's called Vocal Channel 2. I have a couple of them for males and females. And it's just basic effects. I have, on the first thing, I have a little digital warmer from Slate Digital. I have a FabFilter Pro de-esser. I have the FabFilter Pro Q2, taking out the lows, automatically anything at about 100 hertz down, and then a little boost at the high end. And then under that, we have the RVox, which is compressing. And then we have CLA vocals. If you guys don't know what this plugin is, it's a really great plugin. It has a really cool musical sound. It's really easy to use. And this is just giving a little bit of ambiance, a little bit of reverb. Now, this isn't the chain that I actually mix vocals with. This is just my scratch track vocal chain for when a vocalist sends me vocals or I track vocals and I know these aren't going to be the final take, the vocal that ends up in the final track. I'll just use this just so I can hear it in context a little bit better. But let's listen.
They say that there's no such thing as fate, but I don't trust much of anything that comes from mouths that I can't see or touch. But you got lips that I can feel, hands that hold and eyes so clear. You can see me through the smoke now. Got me feeling like I'm home now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down. Say it all, say it all, say it all now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down. Say it all, say it all, say it all.
All right, so I'm just moving out some tracks here because this is a lot longer than what I sent to her, which is awesome that she did all that. So it seems like there's a lot to work with, and I'm going to have to change the arrangement of the track quite a bit to get it to fit. But let's try getting these drums in here just to see how it feels. Alright, so I really like what she did. There's the melody part that I liked from the scratch that I sent her that I was like, hey, I really like this. Remember, if you guys watched the previous videos, you saw the voice note memo or the voice memo on the iPhone. So that's really cool. She got all that in. Now I dig it. I know some producers and DJs will have suggestions and changes for that, but I try to stay out of that unless there's a glaring change or something that just needs to fit the structure. So I might think like that a little bit later, but for now, I'm not going to. I'm just going to try to figure out the arrangement because the arrangement needs to change to fit this because it's quite long. So I'm going to try to explain this the best I can, how I'm conceptualizing this. This track, Leave Me at the Drums, it sounds like the way it's done in her mind was...
They say that there's no such thing as fate, but I don't trust much of anything that comes from mouths that I can't see or touch. But you got lips that I can
This
feel,
seems like her pre-chorus.
hands that hold and eyes so clear. You can see me through the smoke now. Got me feeling like I'm home now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down. Say it all, say it all, say it all now.
So it's kind of like, it's like two choruses back to back. So like...
you. I would die for you. Under oath, but I will lie for you.
Okay, so this song is going to have an interesting structure. I like where it's going. So what I'm thinking now, I'm listening to this, trying to figure out what I need to do to the track melodically and instrumentally to fit the vocals. Because now I'm just thinking of it like a kind of more like a remix, actually. And I really like doing it this way because I personally struggle with just sitting down on a blank DAW session and coming up with something cohesive. I usually need some sort of structure, whether it's a deadline, whether it's a client saying, this is the sound I'm going for, or I just need some type of confinement so where my mind doesn't wander and I'm not just trying a bunch of new shit and wasting hours and hours of time. So right now I have this vocal and I know that for me, her drop, which is her hook, is right here.
You, I would die for you. Under oath, but I will lie for you. Out my mind for.
So that's gonna be where like the instrumental gets really big in terms of energy and just fullness and mix. So I'm gonna keep this drum loop right here and have it come in at bar 29.
For you, I would die for you. Under oath, but I will.
All right. So what I'm gonna do right now is kind of going off that same idea I just discussed, where I like having a certain element of structure when I'm doing this. Otherwise, I'll get too confused. And I think that's a good thing to practice because with today's technology, you can really get lost just dabbling in things. And so when you need to finish stuff, it's nice to have a clear picture of where you want to go. So I'm going to add markers, or some DAWs have a different vernacular for it, but it's just going to be visual representations or visual cues of where different sections start and end in the song. So I'm going to create a marker, drag this to the beginning, and we're going to call this intro. If you guys are Logic X users, you might be like, well, how do I grab the end of it? You have to scroll all the way to here and do that. Otherwise, you can just do an easier way and just add another marker and then adjust the length of that. And because that first marker is technically scrolled all the way out to the end of the song, it'll still appear. So it's just kind of like stacking on top of it. So we're going to do the verse. We're going to start verse 1 right here. And the intro is just going to be about 7 seconds long. Keep it nice and short. It's about 8 seconds. And the verse, I'm going to keep it quite long. That's going to give it that EDM feel as opposed to a pop R&B feel.
You can see me through the smoke.
So right here, this is going to be her breakdown. Call it the vocal breakdown. I'll just do breakdown. All right, so there's the breakdown.
Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down. Say it all, say it all, say it all now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down. Say it all, say it all, say it all. I will ride for you.
All right, so now what we're going to do here is we are going to add one more marker, and for this marker we are going to call this the hook. Okay, and then after that would be, if I want to do a drop, I'll consider doing a drop. All right, guys, so I colored those off camera. You don't need to see that. Now, there's a very good production-oriented reason as to why I'm coloring this, especially for someone like me when I work kind of in a scattered way as is. What I've done essentially is I've given myself a nice little roadmap to where I now have structure in the song, kind of going off of what the vocals were doing and how they felt. So ultimately, throughout this tutorial course, we're going to redo this whole arrangement. The drums might stick on some level, but now I know that, okay, I want to have a 4-bar intro. This verse is quite long because she kind of structured it more of like a pop R&B type song, because that's more of Luna's style. So what we have here is we have a really long verse. We have a 16-bar verse. And what I need to do is obviously change up the instrumentals every 8 bars. So it maybe adds some sounds, but now I know what's happening. And then the breakdown, this is where I want to build into her hook. And I might even do a drop afterwards because the song's quite pacey. And if I did a 8-bar drop after the hook here, we'd have about 1:30 for the first front end of the song. So this is really helpful. If you're DAW, which most DAWs allow you to do, Ableton kind of does this with the clip view. I don't know if I'm saying that exact terminology right. The little clip inspector view, that's really cool, but not all DAWs, only Ableton really has that. So for all the other linear DAWs out there, this really helps me. So now I know where I'm going. In the next video, we're going to start looking at building out certain sections of this arrangement. I'll see you guys there.
If you like this course, why not head over to sonicacademy.com, where we have hundreds of complete track builds in every genre imaginable, including all the project files and samples. You'll also find tutorials on plugins and synths, mixing and mastering, over 250 tech tips, artist interviews, along with our award-winning plugins, samples and preset packs.